Hi there YouTube, and welcome to this video where I will be showing you how to install the web user interface and the REST API for the Freqtrade bot. In this video I will be using my usual environment. It's a Linux Mint system, and everything I will be showing you is also in a GitHub repository on my GitHub page, so that you can follow my steps on your own system. And let's not wait any longer, we're going straight to configuring the bot. Let's open the files. And this is the first file which I will use to install the user interface. In the normal circumstances the user interface is not installed. However, if you use a Docker container, then the interface will be installed by default. In this case, for my first demonstration, I will use the normal installation, which is an installation by the install.sh script, and it doesn't have the user interface installed by default. So what I will do now, just put this to the side, open a terminal window, and I will go to my Freqtrade directory. First of all, I have to activate my Python virtual environment, so source. Great. And now I'm going to install the Freqtrade user interface. Oh, it's just a matter of copying and pasting this command, and let's install. Okay, there it is, and we can continue with the next step. To activate the UI, I have to open the configuration file and set the API server to true. So let's go ahead, go all the way down below, and where is it? Yeah, it's over here. You can see the API server has been set to false, so what we have to do is set this to true, and this enables the API server, and this IP address is the local host, and you can only reach the Freqtrade UI from the server itself in this case, but I want to reach it from another server. So to do that I have to change this to 000, which means that Freqtrade, the user interface, will be listening to all the interfaces on the server. This is the port where the user interface is listening on. However, if you already have a server listening on this port, for example a web server, something like that, it's better to change this to another port number. I have 9487, which is just a random number for me. It's also a little bit more secure to use a lesser known port for hackers. And what we also can do is use another key. This is just a random key that Freqtrade gives us when installing the bot. I can do this, for example. And what I will do now is choosing a username and use a password for the website login. In this case I'm using fairly simple passwords, but if you have a production server it's very important to use strong passwords. Otherwise you'll be hacked in no time and your funds will be drained from the exchange. Okay, let's save this file. And what's the next step? Everything I just said is also over here. And okay, well, according to my own instructions, it's only a matter of oh, before I continue, I forgot to put these lines in the configuration. So let's open the configuration once again, go all the way down at the end and copy and paste these lines. No typing, just copying and pasting. This can be removed. Just paste it over there, and yeah, this looks good to me. Let's save it. Okay, and now go ahead with starting the bot with this command. Now everything is in the configuration file, so I don't have to specify a strategy on the command line. Just start the bot. and let's see what will happen. Let's make it a little bit bigger so we can see. Okay, this looks good to me. We have an info warning. We have some information lines that says that the server has been started and it's actually running on this IP address, which listens to all ports, and this port number. You also get a security warning because it listens to all ports. Doesn't like to have that, it's insecure, it says over here. But I want to reach my server from another PC, so I'll leave it at this. Okay, let's go ahead with our next section, and it is doing the same, but then with a Docker container. Let's close this. For this I will go to another directory where I have installed the Docker Compose file. And that's over here. Just let's clean this up a little bit. You know what? I have a better idea. Let's return to my old directory. And just start the bot. Okay, this bot is started. And what I'm now going to do is open a new terminal window or a tab. I now will go to the Docker directory. And with the other bot running, I'm also going to start the Docker Freqtrade bot to see what will happen if I use two bots at the same time, but both from different installations. Just clear this up. Now, to start the Docker container with the web user interface, we have almost the same steps to do. I'm going to open my file for this. And these are the activation steps. Just change the config. And before I do this, I have to check if my user actually has permissions to open the config file. Otherwise, I have to do it with the sudo command. And you can see over here that the Linux mint user, this is actually the root user of this VM, has taken ownership of my user data directory. It's not a big problem. I'm just going to use the sudo command to edit the file. Okay, let's go all the way to the end. And you can see that this user interface is false, so I'm going to set this to true. Listen IP address, I will change this also to 0.0.0.0. Listen port, I'm going to leave this 8080. Verbosity is not necessary. This is also not necessary, so I'll remove this. The key is not necessary in this case. This also not. And I'm going to give it a very complicated username and password. And next what I'm going to do is check the Docker Compose file. It's this tab here, to see if the lines in the Compose file are open. Uncommented, I mean. And here are the lines. And to make it a little bit more obscure for this server as well, because as I said before, maybe another service is using the port 8080, like a web server for example. I'm going to make this 3333 as I did here. And what's next? Okay, well, seems that it's everything. And now just use Docker Compose up. And make a daemon out of it. Okay, so now I have two bots running, one Docker bot and one other bot with the normal service installation, which is over here. Well, check if these two bots are actually reachable with my browser. To do this, I have to open my browser, and oh, before I forget, this command is a ping command. You can copy and paste it in the URL section to see if the bot is running or not. And it gives a pong. So that means that my bots are in my Docker container, which is on port 3333, is actually running. So this looks good to me. Now I will see if my other bot is also reachable. This bot was running on port 9487. I'll do the same thing. Let's see if I've got a pong. Well, now you see I have two bots running, each on a separate port. So I can have two bots for two strategies or two exchanges. And now we can go ahead with actually visiting these two sites. Just enter this. Wow, this is looking great. Is it the same for the other one as well? Yeah. Okay. Now, because this is my Docker bot, I can log in. Just give the bot a name, doesn't matter what. My complicated username and password. And you can see that this bot is red, but the status update will be happening shortly. Going for the other bot as well, log in. Okay. No, don't want to save this. Okay. Well, it actually didn't take long for the bot to update its status. You see it's green, and the other one is also green. So let's enter the bot. Let's see if there are trades happening at this moment. Okay. Well, you can see this bot is only trading one pair Bitcoin, and what you can also see, it's a very bad day. It's actually Friday, Black Friday, so everything is with a big discount, minus 10%, even more some pairs. And my other Freqtrade bot, you can see this bot trades 3 pairs: Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, of course. And let's see if there are some trades happening. Oh, no trades. Nope. No trades for this bot. And also no trades for this bot. Well, I started them a couple of minutes ago, so actually it's not a good time to buy at this moment. And these bots are not buying at all, so that's good. Well, that rounds it up for this section, and now let's continue with configuring the REST API. Now close all these ones, and let's continue with my install bot. Close it, and go ahead with the next section, REST API interface. To enable the REST API, it's actually quite similar to enabling the user interface. Just go ahead and open the configuration file. And it's actually the same configuration. You have to set the API to true, listen IP address. Normally it's the local host, but I configured it to listen to all the interfaces. And this import 9487. You could change this back to 8080 if you don't have a web server or something installed. And yeah, everything is just the same configuration. And let's make this the same as my file. Okay, close it up. And let's just start the bot again. Okay, in the meantime, what we have to do is open a new terminal window. So let's do this. I'm still on the Freqtrade directory, so that's good. And what we now have to do is create a client configuration which we can use to send commands to the bot. To do this, I'm going to go to the scripts directory and I'll make a file and I'm calling it, it's a little bit down over here, rest config.json. And the only thing I have to do is just copy and paste this small section into the bot. What this small configuration does is it gives me the IP address where I should send the commands to, and the port of the server, and these are the username and password, of course, that the REST API client uses to reach the bot. Just save this, and the only thing I have to do is just use this command. And what it does is Python calls this REST client script, which takes the configuration file and then it sends a ping to the bot. This once again. And I've got an error, and let's see what's happening. Oh, I see. I didn't activate the Python virtual environment. What's important to note that if you want to use this REST client script, you should also install the requests module on your server or on your PC, I mean. Otherwise it does not work, as you can clearly see. So just activate. Oh. Okay, let's this. And before I do this, I see another error, I think, because I have specified to go to port 8080, but I think that my bot is still on the old port. So what I can do is use netstat to see which ports are used at this moment. And yeah, I'm correct. 9487 is still used, so open the script again, or I'm in the configuration, and change this to 9487. Okay, let's see if I get a response from my bot. And yes, it does. It gives me the same response as actually a ping in the URL of my browser. So from this moment on, I can reach my bot on the web server, and I can use this script, this REST client script, to get some information from my bot. And maybe I can get some other information. Let's see. What you can also do is use the help command to see which options you have. And you can see here sysinfo, the trades, a specific trade, version of your bot software, show config. So let's see, I can use balance, for example. And as you can clearly see, the bot returns the balance. It's still $1,000. No trades made at this moment. And there's one other thing to do, and that's to show you how you can reach your bot from another computer. In this case, a Windows computer with the Linux subsystem. And what I did is installed the API client on that subsystem and used the config file, which is shown over here. Same config file, only on another server. So let's first of all see my IP address. above. Yeah. So now let me drag this window over here, and what you can see is I don't have any Freqtrade installations at this moment. I only have a scripts directory, and when I go in the scripts directory, you can see that I have only two files, the REST client and the config file. Now what I can do is just like I demonstrated before, just enter the command to do a ping, or just to get some information on my trades on the other server, my Freqtrade server, and then it gives me a response from which I can see if it's performing or working or whatever. Let me show you the REST config. You can clearly see it's enabled true. This is the IP address on another server, and this is the port number which I configured on this server. Let me see. It's this port number. So I'm actually going to reach out for this bot. No trades. No, still no trades. Let me close this and let me paste the command. And as you can clearly see, I did a ping to my other server that's over here, and it gave me a response. Now I can do multiple things. I can do help, I can do balance, still no trades, and what I can also do is sysinfo. So as you can clearly see, it's a completely other system, and I can just reach my Freqtrade bot from this other system through the REST API. Okay, well, I think this sums it up for this video, and let's end this with a final thank you for watching this video. And as always, please click the like button, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. I think you already know the drill, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.